Hey everyone, it's Amy here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Love It or Leave It review on a new foundation from Giorgio Armani. I was super excited when I read about the new Power Fabric foundation because it says it's high coverage and it's a natural matte finish. So I was like, yes, this is a Giorgio Armani foundation meant for me. So I was super excited to try it. So I did purchase mine at Nordstrom. You can buy it at Armani's website, online and in stores at Nordstrom, and then online at Sephora.com. None of the stores within 100 miles of me have this specific foundation at Sephora. So I'm not sure if it's one of those foundations that's never going to be sold in stores or it just hasn't hit the stores yet, but it is available on Sephora.com. It comes in a total of 20 shades. It is 1 fluid ounce for $64. So they describe it as a full coverage foundation. On the bottle, it says it's a high cover foundation. I'd say this is a high medium coverage right off the bat. The first layer that you put on your skin, which is about 1 pump, that is about a high medium coverage. If you need that full coverage foundation, go in with a light second layer. You never get cake face. It never looks like you have a ton of makeup on. It's not one of those foundations where you're like, ooh, I can tell you have foundation on. This is so natural looking. It looks just really beautiful and like one with your skin. So I love that no matter how many layers you put on, it just always looks really great. So the description says it's a full coverage liquid foundation that perfects the velvet matte, lightweight, second skin finish. They did such a good job with the description. I truly believe all these. It's a velvet matte. It dries to a beautiful powder finish. You do not have to set this if you don't want to. So that's why I also think it's great for all different skin types, is because you don't have to set it. It's going to dry down to a nice velvet powdery finish. So that's why it's great for dry skin, and if you have oily skin, then you can go on top and set it. And again, it still never looks cakey, and it's just awesome. And then it says it's lightweight. It is so lightweight, you guys. When is the last time you found a full coverage foundation that you can't feel on your face? I mean, you literally don't feel this. Like Urban Decay All Nighter, I really like that one, but I know I have foundation on and I can feel I have foundation on, and you can definitely tell I have it on. It looks great, but like I can tell I have foundation on. This you can't feel. It is so lightweight no matter how many layers you put on. It is so incredibly comfortable. I don't feel it. I never feel it even 12 plus hours down the line. As far as the wear time, you guys, the wear time is incredible. I'm sure you guys know, but I am a CPA in busy season right now. So it's easily like 14 hours by the time I've traveled to and from my clients and worked an 11, 12-hour day and then gotten home. And every time I got home this week and I wore this foundation, it still looked amazing. Now I do have combination skin, so I did find that maybe around the 10-hour time frame, I did get a little shiny. I never got oily with this whatsoever, but I did pick up a little shine that could easily be blotted away. It still looked so good from the minute I put it on till at night. It never settled into fine lines. It never settled into like smile lines, or it never got super oily around here. It never lost the coverage. It still looked really, really great. Like even with that little bit of shine on top, the coverage was still there. It never wore down the foundation. It was super incredible this week seeing how well this wore. I mean, I haven't had a foundation last that long in a really, really long time. This foundation features an array of 20 shades to suit all skin tones. It's adapted for each shade to deliver optimal coverage without crackling or dulling. So again, 20 shades, I think that is awesome. I love when brands come out like bam, right off the bat with that many shades for everyone to try. There's nothing more frustrating when they come out with 8, 10 shades and there's not a shade for everyone. So this one is great in the sense that there is a lot of shades all the way to some very deep skin tones, even like tan skin tones, and there's probably 3 or 4 that are described as deep and very deep. So I think you have a little bit of everything for everyone, which is great. So now as far as primers go, I also found that you don't have to wear a primer with this foundation. I wore mattifying primers, I wore smoothing primers, pore filling primers, and no primers when trying this foundation throughout this week. And no matter what primer I used with it, it did not change anything about the foundation. It still looked flawless, it still wore extremely long. I still got a tad shiny a little bit on the forehead, like I said, around that 10-hour mark, and it still held up all day long. So I found that a primer is not required with this foundation, which is always nice to hear because, you know, when you spend $64 on a foundation, you don't want to have to go out and buy another product and have to wear another product with it. So I love that you don't need a primer with it. I don't think you need a powder with this foundation either. Obviously, if you have very, very oily skin, I would suggest, you know, setting your T-zone just in general. I do that pretty much with any foundation I ever use, but I don't set my whole face with this foundation. I only set my nose and my forehead, like the T-zone area, and that is it, just to combat a little bit of that shine. But because it dries down to that really nice powdery finish, I don't think you have to use a powder, which again is great that you don't have to use a whole nother product with this foundation. As far as applying the foundation, I did try it 3 different ways with 3 different tools. I liked all 3 of these. There wasn't a certain method that I used that I liked better. One time I had tried it with my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. This is just very similar to like a kabuki brush or any kind of typical blending brush for foundation. This works great. Still gave me really flawless coverage, still built up really well. I used the new Pure Foundation brush that's kind of like an Artiste dupe that I got this week. This works really well to spread out the product evenly and really fast, so these kind of brushes in general work really great with this foundation. I also tried it with my iBeauty dupe that's very, very similar to this brush. It worked great as well. And then the last way I used it, which I did show you both of these 2 methods in the demo, was with a damp beauty sponge. Again, I found that with the damp beauty sponge, it blended out well, it looked flawless, it didn't take away any of the coverage. So again, another great thing about this foundation is you can use any tool you pretty much have, and I think it's going to work. So as far as the price goes, $64 is a very personal decision to decide whether or not you want to spend that on a makeup product, on a foundation, whatever it may be. That is totally up to you guys whether or not you want to spend that much money. So I'm not going to talk about whether or not I think it's worth it or not, because $64, let's face it, you're paying for the quality of the foundation and the name brand, being it's Giorgio Armani. So that's a piece of it. So what I really want to touch on is, based on all the claims this foundation makes, I 100% think it's meeting all of these claims. So if it's going to be $64 and it's gonna be that ultra expensive, it better meet every claim that it makes, in my personal opinion. And I think this foundation really does. Overall, the quality is really great. It's totally gonna be a personal decision whether or not you would want to spend that much money. But if you did and you are willing to, I do think this product overall is really fantastic. Beautiful coverage. It's really buildable. It gives a natural finish. You can't feel it. You don't need primers and you don't need powder. I think overall this is a good standalone foundation. Really easy to use. You can use it with whatever tool you already have in your makeup collection, and I just think overall, this is a really beautiful, fantastic foundation that I was really impressed with. So I think Giorgio Armani knocked it out of the park with their new Power Fabric foundation, and I would highly recommend it to you guys if you're interested. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review and the demo and hearing my thoughts on the new Giorgio Armani Power Fabric foundation and found it helpful. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!